So the finale for Seraph Season 2 had a lot of content in it. Hopefully I can recall everything, but if I do mess up or forget something, I do hope that you guys can forgive me, because right now I have to recall a lot of stuff that happened in the episode. But we see now that this episode, it picked up right where we left off last week, where we have Guren now being possessed by his sword, or as they call him, his ex-girlfriend. We see him now trying to attack you, but luckily Mika actually came in there and protected him. And also, you know that when a series actually skips its own opening, you definitely know something is going down in this episode. And so we see now that Guren and Mika were once again starting to fight, and we see now that Mika realized right away that Guren, was definitely not the same one that he had fought last time. Mika was Guren is now a completely different person, and we see Guren, just kind of wipe the floor, but that right there can be understandable because we have Mika, still kind of messed up, and obviously, with Guren, other personality out, he is definitely a lot more ruthless than normal. And so we see now that while he was fighting Mika, we have Kirito calling out to Guren, who we already knew about the other side, and apparently Guren, the other side, this other personality is actually working with Kirito, where we have the normal Guren that we've been seeing, actually working, against him. So that right there is kind of weird, because how do you have these two sides in one body, working toward completely different goals? But we see now that Guren, he told his sword to drink the blood of a human, of a demon, and a progenitor. And so we see Guren now going around attacking comrades and foe alike. And now when he said progenitor, I thought maybe he meant some high-ranking vampire, but all we saw Guren cut down was just father vampires and humans. So who was the progenitor that he got blood from? But regardless, we see now that all these people that Guren cut down, eventually they were all impaled by spikes from that secret weapon that Kirito brought out. But we see now that that right there had caused this weapon, it had caused these spikes or chains, whatever you want to call it, but it caused those things to change from black to red. And so we see now that when that happened, that right there definitely triggered something. And so we see now that the result of this weapon, it was actually an angel. And so all this time I thought maybe, Kirito was making some kind of demon, but no, he was actually making an angel. And we see now that this angel, was coming from Kimi's sister. And so that right there was pretty messed up. Now we all knew he was working on her, but like I said, I thought he was making a demon, not an angel. But we see now that this angel's power is definitely great, and we see that when he actually controlled it by using talismans and this kind of weird weapon, they were able to control this power. And then we see them now bringing forth what this angel could really do, because apparently there are these different set of trumpets, and the power that Mirai had, she had the power of the fifth trumpet, and that right there allowed her to summon a god of destruction. Hopefully I'm saying his name right, but it was called Abaddon. Hope I'm saying that name right, but this guy, he looked pretty sick. To me, it seemed almost an Asura kind of demon, fused with a dragon. To me, that right there was awesome. And we see now that when they used the three different kind of needles and actually threw it into the body of the demon, it apparently made part of the body explode into these different chunks. But we see that, and we see now when those globs of balls, actually hit the ground, they became these black four horsemen of Johns, because that right there is what they actually reminded me of, but of course on a much smaller scale, because they were, they were a little bit taller than humans. But we see now that these things have a lot of power, and we saw them going around attacking vampires, and of course also humans as well. And so right now we have all our characters trying to get the heck out of there, except for Kimi, who we saw, trying to get his sister. But Guren, who we all know is possessed, he actually stabbed him, and that right there, just set you off. And so eventually now you here starts to fight, Guren. And of course Mika, one more time get in there as well. But Guren, with him not being possessed, he is definitely a lot stronger than normal. So of course, once again, he was able to fend him off. And and then we have one of the black, Fourthman of John come over to Mika as well, and we see him now, attacking Mika. And at first you think everything's okay because you had killed her, but no, Mika right now is like pretty hurt because we saw like this hole on his side, and apparently this demon or the angel, they had made this barrier where vampires, are definitely weakened, because even if Mika will like drink some of Yu's blood, he will still not recover. So that right there was like a pretty big deal. And so right now Yu was like, if I kill this demon, everybody will be fine. And so Yu already knew what he had to do, but Mika was like, just run, go bring your family, and and leave me behind. But of course Yu couldn't do that. And so we see him now pick up some random sword. I don't think that that sword that he grabbed belonged to him, but we see him now stabbing himself. And so right now, like once again in Yu's subconscious, we have him talking to his demon. And so even his demon was like, I do not have the power. Well, no, she was like, I do not have enough power to give you, for this task. But you knew what he had to do. He had to like once again go for the trumpet. And this time all you see is like this fire pillar, like now surrounding him. And I will say that right there looked pretty epic. Oh, and also, there was this one scene where we have, Yu, when he first went to attack Guren, we have you asking him, are we your family? Why are you doing this? We have Guren crying. And so that right there was a sign that the other girl, was like still in there, aware of like what was going on. So I do wonder, how that will play a role, in the future of this series, because obviously if like both Gurens are aware of what the other one does, that right there should definitely, lead to like a major plot point or a plot twist, because I will say, Guren at the end definitely pulled, a major plot twist with what he, with what he chose to do. And so now with Yu, like now powering up, becoming another Seraph of the end, we have, Kirito, Aoi, they all had picked up on that. And so apparently, if they were to actually, stop Yu or, kill him while he's transforming, that right there, would end humanity again, because that right there is what it seemed like they said. I'm still not sure, what they meant by that, but regardless now, we have Kirito wanting to stop, and so they told Kirito told his men, and of course told, the demon as well to like attack you, but we see now that when they have went toward him, it was like already too late. And this time we see you in a very, very much more complete state than compared to like last season where he went berserk. And so apparently now, you here, he can like some of the power of like salt, and we see him now pretty much drown all these black four horsemen of John and salt, and that right there got rid of them. And so we learn now that the trumpet that Yu has, that right there is the power of the King of Salt, which is the second trumpet. So I do wonder if like if Yu has the second trumpet and Mirai has the fifth, I do wonder what character has the first, the third, and the fourth, because to me it seems so weird that like we are skipping over those. And to me, I want to say maybe Mika has the first one, because I do believe he like also experimented on there as well. Oh, and also where we have, Yu transforming, Mika actually got blown back because he was like too close, but we have, Cruel saving him. And now we have this like awesome fight between, the God Destruction and Yu. And we see now that first, I thought maybe the God Destruction would overpower Yu, but no, he actually fought back and won. And I will say, using salt as a weapon, to me it seems kind of weird, but you made that thing look so freaking powerful that obviously, he had killed the God Destruction, and he even saved Mirai in the process. So she didn't die. That right there is good. And we see now, you now being possessed by, a god or a king. He was like looking down on the humans. And so at one point we have, Kirito, this guy guy was now pissed, and we see him now striking down Yu. And so right now, when they like clash swords, Yu here was like so powerful that he actually sent Kirito, flying all the way back to like some kind of aircraft they had there. So that right there was impressive. It shows you, just how much stronger Yu was in this form compared to early on where Kirito, made Yu seem like a joke. But right now we have all these men and like even Guren approaching Yu. And we see now that while they were doing that, we have Yu like grabbing his sword because obviously he was like going to use the power of a demon to fight them. But we see now that that for some reason his demon, apparently Yu cannot use both powers at once. And so what she did, she made Yu become a demon, and that right there got rid of like his angel powers. But at the same time, it like knocked him out. And so all we have Yu was like turning back to normal, but we can see like this dead look in his eyes as he falls to the ground. And so right now, right now we have the army thinking that Yu here, he'll be, easy pickings because, nobody can stop him. But then we have my boy Narumi. He actually came in there, and for the first time, even though, this guy was like so determined to like follow Guren and obey his orders, for the first time we actually have him, defying him. And like he protected Yu by making like some kind of like wall. And we see now that by the time that Kirito had like struck it down, they were like already long gone. And now going back to Cruel where she had Mika, we see now that like they were actually going to get Yu and escape, but we see now that Furry and Crowley, they finally, sprung the plan into action, and we see them now, like trying to like sneak attack Cruel. And so at first we see now Crowley, he actually lost an arm, and we even see Cruel, snap his neck, and that right there was impressive. But then we have Farid, getting behind her and now drinking her blood. And we all know, just how strong Cruel is. So we have, so to me, I found it kind of weird how she could not get Farid off of her. But we see that, like, she have gave Mika some kind of message. We have no idea what she said, but we have Mika now eventually catching up to our cast because, like at one point, some fodder soldiers, I actually caught up to them, and we see now Mika came and actually blew them away. But now we have Farid pretty much selling out Cruel, and now this guy's like now in charge. So obviously, we have no idea what the fate of Cruel will be. I don't think that I don't believe that Farid drunk her dry, so I don't want to say she's dead, but at the same time, we have no idea what her fate is now because Farid actually ratted her out. And so now with like a character escaping, we have all these vampires, fight against the rest of the demon army because the Shinwa squad and of course the army, that they all left it. And so after that, that right there is where pretty much where the episode ended at. But then we get a little time skip, 4 months later. And at first we like see these ruins, and then we see that right there is where the demon company is, demon army. And we see now that apparently they are definitely getting ready for like some kind of mission, and we see now Kirito, he is now rocking like a new red coat. I'm not sure if that means this guy is now the leader, because I do believe he has the same rank. But then we have Guren, now at his side, and of course he's like wearing the same thing as well. So now both of them are definitely in charge, and I do wonder what happened to Shinya, because last time we saw him, he was like punching Guren, trying to find out what in the world was like going on. But now we have the Shinoa squad, we have Narumi, and of course Mika, and we learn now that our characters, they were like definitely hiding out somewhere. But we see now that they were going to the place where their last battle, went down at, and that right there is in the city, with that airport. And so right now they are going there to actually rescue Kimmy's sister, because 4 months ago, they had left her behind. And of course, back then when he realized what was going on. He had no choice but to do that. But now they want to go back and get her, and of course get Guren as well. So it's definitely nice that our characters are knocking up with Guren, because obviously he definitely realized something was going on, especially when he saw Guren crying back then. And so now, while they were walking, we learn now that Mitsuba, she asked you where his demon was, and now we saw his sword. We saw you carrying his sword, and we have you, telling her that he's asleep. So I do wonder if maybe, they have somehow been doing some kind of training where they always have, where they always have their powers activated. I know they were here, it might sound kind of weird, but why else would Mitsuba ask you that, especially when he had a sword on him? To me, I found that rather odd. But obviously, 4 months of training, they realized that they definitely gotta get a lot stronger. And I do wonder if it's possible that you can't control that power now of the King of Salt, because that right there would be freaking amazing. But while they were walking, out of nowhere, we have you going to the ocean. Apparently, he can now sense when it's raining. To me, I found the ending, rather odd, because I thought at first maybe he was possibly possessed. I'm not really sure, but we see now that when he said that right there's what the episode ended at. And so now, in the ending, even that was now different, where we had Mika and Narumi, now joining them on that ending scene of the ending. So now, Narumi, he is no longer a minor or support character. This guy has rose to the rank of a main character, and that right there, I will say, pretty awesome. But I do wonder if the characters that were left behind, the other members of his squad, or even the Guren squad, what in the world happened to them? But season 2, I will say that it's been very enjoyable. I liked it. Now, I do know that this series gets a lot of hate because I'm guessing that, sometimes it can be pretty edgy, but I don't know. I still like it. Overall, season 2 was good. I'll probably give it a 7, overall. And for a finale, I'll probably give that maybe an 8 or 8.5, because to me, it was definitely great. But as always, let me know what you guys thought. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if this series, gets another season 3, I will definitely review it. But as always, you guys take it easy. I'll see you all next time.